Don't let anyone disenfranchise you because you're a young man, especially a young white male man. Don't ever let anyone talk down to you. We need strong men out there, strong men who are convicted, that will be good leaders, good husbands, good fathers like mine. We need that. And young women, we need you to also rise up. Don't compromise yourself. Don't look at other women and compare yourself. God has created you for a purpose and a reason far greater than you and I will ever know on this side of heaven. But just know that as long as you're a part of Turning Point USA, you have us by your side.
Some people just don't seem to know when it's the right time to step away. And if you listen to Erika Kirk's critics, many believe she falls into that category. They argue she's remained in the public eye much longer than they expected, and that has only made the conversations louder. After losing her husband at just 37 and raising 2 children as a single parent, many thought she would receive overwhelming public support. Instead, opinions have become deeply divided. Some critics, including people who once admired her late husband's work, have openly questioned her public appearances and motivations. To them, almost every move looks carefully calculated, and that perception has sparked intense debate, constant speculation, and non-stop discussion all across social media. Instead of stepping away as the criticism has grown, Erika has stayed right in the middle of the public spotlight.
Your questions, and hopefully we'll be able to answer any thoughts that you have.
Who is more conservative and why?
Erika.
Yes.
By far. Not even close. I am a moderate compared to Erika.
She continues showing up at major events, speaking on big stages, and growing her public profile, even as the conversations around her become louder and more intense. Supporters see her actions as a sign of resilience and determination, while critics argue she's trying to become the new public face of the movement her husband helped build. No matter which side people support, she keeps making headlines, and the debate surrounding her refuses to fade.
2 days after her husband was killed, Erika appeared to make a statement on his channel.
Good evening. My name is Erika Kirk. Charlie Kirk is my husband. The evildoers responsible for my husband's assassination have no idea what they have done. They should all know this. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country. When I got home last night, Gigi, our daughter, just ran into my arms. And I talked to her and she said, "Mommy, I missed you." I said, "I miss you too, baby." She goes, "Where's Daddy?" "What do you tell a 3-year-old? She's 3. I said, "Baby, Daddy loves you so much. Don't you worry. He's on a work trip with Jesus, so he can afford your blueberry budget."
Even though the situation was already filled with strong opinions, public discussion has only become more heated with each passing week, and the close attention on nearly everything Erika does continues to grow. Many viewers have also noticed that Erika's recent media appearances have sparked even more conversation. Critics have pointed to her interviews, speeches, and public reactions as reasons they believe the growing pressure may be showing, leading to even more speculation across social media and beyond. Instead of receiving the understanding and patience that some believe she expected, nearly everything the former Miss Arizona says or does has been picked apart and closely examined by the public. People continue debating what she knows, what her intentions might be, and where they think her loyalties truly stand.
There you go.
Oh, look at all the thumbs up. Look how cute that is. Sorry, this is a little bit more informal than probably Charlie would be reacting. How sweet. I didn't know they could do that. I hate Zoom. I never liked Zoom. Sorry, you guys. I just wanted to say, first and foremost, my heart obviously is broken for you guys as much as it is for our family. You guys lost not only a boss, but someone that you looked up to, someone that you believed in his mission, that you also that you loved. You loved listening to his show, hearing his wisdom on things. I'm sure some of you have also had very personal moments of where you sat down and
had private conversations with him. I want you all to hold on to those.
Those questions have kept the conversation alive, with fresh opinions appearing almost every day. The growing uncertainty has become one of the biggest parts of the story, and it continues to drive public interest. To understand how the situation reached this point, it helps to look back at where it all began. A new chapter for Turning Point USA began almost immediately after Charlie Kirk's death in Provo, Utah, drawing intense public attention and widespread discussion. Just 2 days after her husband was killed, Erika shared what was reported to be one of her first public statements through his channel, marking an early response to the tragedy. Then, only 11 days after the shooting, a report from the New York Times introduced another unexpected twist to the timeline. According to the article, Erika was sitting in her mother's hospital room in Phoenix when she received a call from Michael McCoy, adding another significant moment to the rapidly unfolding story. Her husband's longtime assistant.
A friend of mine, let's call her Erika. She's had a wild life, this woman. She was in Romania, she had an orphanage, she was on a reality show, she married this famous guy, she was an intelligence asset. And I said to her, how do you do this? And she says, Tim, it's Neuro's energy and focus mints. And I says, but how do you do it after the guy, the husband and father of the kids gets murdered and you're out there doing all kinds of stuff? You're doing fundraisers and you're dancing around with glitter pants. How does this happen? She goes, I could lie to you, but I'm telling you, it's Neuro's energy and focus mints. I said, really? She goes, sure. I said, how are you running this organization 7 hours after this guy got popped?
Looking back on that moment, Erika said she had a feeling she already knew what he was about to say before he even spoke the words. That detail quickly grabbed people's attention and became another major topic in the growing public conversation surrounding the case. At the time, many of Charlie Kirk's supporters stood firmly behind Erika as they mourned the loss, alongside an audience that had followed his work for years. Reports claiming that Charlie believed Erika held even stronger hardline views than he did were seen by some supporters as a positive sign and gave them even more confidence in her leadership.
Evil. Charlie and I have always been very clear on our stance. Israel, Jewish people. It's awful. Anti-Semitism is what healing factor comes out of hating Jewish people? What healing factor comes out of hating Christians? What healing factor comes out? Hate in general, nothing. Charlie always would say very clearly, Jew hate was brain rot. He would always say it. We've been to Israel twice together, and to be able to walk in the place where our Lord walked and see the Bible come to life in Technicolor, how could you hate that place? How could you hate the Jewish people?
Rather than creating concern, those reports initially strengthened support among many of Charlie's followers. Just 8 days after his passing, it was announced that Erika had been chosen as the new director of Turning Point USA following a unanimous vote. From that moment on, both the organization and its new leader found themselves under an even brighter spotlight. Nearly every major decision, public appearance, and statement became the subject of fresh debate, intense discussion, and non-stop scrutiny across social media and beyond.
That we've presented to congressional officials. 1 being cyber, 2 being hackers, 3 being physical threats, 4th one is solar EMP, and the 5th one is man-made. And when we go over this risk analysis, they hear what we're saying, but they don't want to take action. Take action.
Well, there are 18 critical infrastructures.
It's weird, but
Very weird.
She's doing a CIA informational video.
weird. Like an acting gig, or is this something else?
Perhaps. Or,
I know,
you know,
just
but even so, you're doing an acting gig for the CIA. Who calls you for that?
Yeah.
You ever get one of those calls?
No.
No, I never got one of those calls.
And my agent never hit me with that one.
Yeah. It's odd. Well, there's a lot of people that think that she was his handler. She was Charlie Kirk's handler. But of course, there's a lot of people that think I have handlers.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you got about 9 Navy SEALs out there.
They're not. They're my friends.
Whether it was a viral moment at a public event, her comments about forgiveness after the tragedy, or ongoing debates over Charlie's views and legacy, Erika quickly became one of the biggest topics of public discussion. Almost every appearance or statement seemed to trigger another wave of reactions, keeping her name at the center of the conversation. Supporters argued that she was doing her best to carry forward a difficult mission during an incredibly challenging period. Critics, however, believed some of her public statements and decisions only raised more questions and added to the growing frustration. As both sides became more vocal, the public debate grew louder and more divided with each passing month. As time went on, nearly every interview, speech, or public appearance sparked fresh discussion across social media and news platforms. Every new comment was closely examined by supporters and critics alike, with people offering sharply different interpretations.
Seems to fall increasingly flat, with each resurfaced morsel from the old days.
He is the executive director of the Task Force on National and Homeland Security and director of the U.S. Nuclear Strategy Forum, both congressional advisory boards. I touch a little bit of topics on the grid vulnerability that we have here in our country, and just basically tell the audience what exactly EMP is and what are the threats that we need to be aware of as Americans, and what our major security issue here in America is right now.
Well, an electromagnetic pulse can be generated by a nuclear weapon detonated at high altitude. And we have seen Iran write in its military doctrine. This is basically why they want the bomb. We've also seen them practice launching missiles from short-range missiles from ships to simulate an EMP attack.
The constant attention made it increasingly difficult for Erika to step away from the spotlight, as almost every public move she made quickly became another headline and another topic of debate. The controversy eventually reached beyond political opponents and even involved people who had once been viewed as allies. After Candace Owens publicly criticized Erika's handling of information related to the murder investigation, the disagreement between the two became much more public, attracting even greater attention from people following the story. What had started as criticism soon turned into a highly visible public dispute that sparked nonstop discussion online. Before long, Erika was responding in interviews to someone who had once been a close friend of her late husband, adding another unexpected chapter to an already high-profile disagreement. At the same time, she continued speaking publicly in support of Israel, while also commenting on the person convicted of killing her husband.
A thing called Happy Easter. Do we have that? Everyone happy? Anybody that doesn't want, hello, darling. Wow, this is a good table. I like that table. You're doing well, right? Okay. I think you should sue them, but, you know. Well, I told her, you ought to sue some of these. They're so jealous of Erika. I said, you ought to sue their... I can say it, you're not allowed to say this. You have to be nicer. Sue their ass off.
Those actions prompted even more debate, with supporters and critics offering very different interpretations and keeping the public conversation going at full speed. With every new public statement, skepticism surrounding Erika seemed to grow even stronger. Many critics questioned her messaging and openly wondered why others continued supporting her public efforts, while supporters defended her approach during an incredibly difficult period. As the debate intensified, nearly every appearance she made was closely watched, analyzed, and discussed across social media. To her critics, the situation no longer looked like a carefully managed public response. Instead, they argued it had become a series of choices they found increasingly difficult to understand. With each new development, they believed their concerns were being confirmed, saying the public image she presented did not fully match what they felt they were seeing.
Evil. She is evil. When I watched that, I went, she's evil. I am so infuriated watching that back because she's lying. She's objectively lying and she's acting. She was told to say that to make people believe that she had access to something that we didn't.
Do you believe that Tyler Robinson murdered your husband?
Yes, I do.
Why do you think it is so hard for so many people to believe that reality?
Because it's too simple. Again, everyone always has to think there's more to the story. Well, sometimes there's not. I've seen the autopsy report. I've seen our case pulled together. I've been in constant contact with our lawyers, the prosecuting team. I've seen it all.
Right? It was because of that clip that when I went in to meet with her, I was going, oh, okay, maybe she has something that the public doesn't. I spoke to her, I've been in touch with the lawyers. I've seen the autopsy report. And then I sit down with her 72 hours later and she tells me, and her lawyer confirms to me, that they have nothing more than what the public has seen.
One moment that drew especially widespread attention was her appearance on a Turning Point USA Zoom call just 5 days after her husband's death. That appearance quickly became another major flashpoint, fueling even more discussion and debate among people closely following the story. Some observers pointed to what they felt was a surprisingly composed demeanor, and that quickly became another major topic of discussion and speculation. As clips from the appearance spread online, people offered very different reactions, keeping the conversation active across social media. After the footage began circulating more widely, criticism of Erika appeared to grow even stronger. Many online commentators closely examined her public image, with some arguing that her presentation looked highly polished and carefully prepared. Others disagreed, but the debate over her authenticity continued gaining attention across social media and political circles. Critics also focused on the footage, noting that Erika frequently looked down at her notes while speaking. To them, that raised questions about how natural and unscripted the appearance really was. Some viewed it as heavily rehearsed, while others saw nothing unusual, adding yet another layer to the ongoing public debate. Others argued the appearance felt more like a carefully planned public relations effort than a deeply personal reflection. If the goal was to connect with people on an emotional level, many observers felt the response did not unfold the way supporters may have hoped. Instead of receiving broad backing from conservative audiences, Erika also faced criticism from voices within those same circles. Several conservative commentators became some of her most vocal critics, making her interviews and public appearances a frequent subject of discussion, criticism, and debate.
Turns out Erika Kirk's mother has been a CIA spy, or a spy, for a long time. Now, you know, she had like 50 different LLC companies that she creates and closes and all. And so Wolves in Finance have done a great job with that. And now Project Constitution says Lori Franz appears in Edward Snowden's leaked PRISM docs as NSA agent. For those of us tracking the new TPUSA narrative, this isn't just a coinkydink. It's a confirmation of the intelligent asset theory. The coincidence officially dies. They are running a script. If Lori is a confirmed intelligence asset, her daughter's entire life story suddenly looks like a meticulously managed operation, which it was.
Elsewhere, major podcasts and online commentators, including conversations connected to platforms such as the Joe Rogan Experience, have taken a closer look at Erika's background. Some of those discussions have included disputed claims and allegations about possible connections to intelligence circles before she met Charlie. Those claims have not been established as fact, but they continue to circulate online and remain a source of ongoing debate and speculation. Even if those allegations are inaccurate and any past involvement simply reflected different career opportunities, some critics argue it becomes harder to accept the idea that Erika had little connection to politics.
I mean, how much?
Yeah, I mean, listen, she is absolutely committed to, and I don't want to put words in Erika's mouth. I think she's probably going to kind of clarify what this event has meant to her, at some point this week, and kind of where her head's at. So I don't want to speak for her, but, actually, she's completely committed and devoted to, fulfilling Charlie's legacy and mission, and none of that has changed. Obviously, this was, this was a triggering experience in more ways than one. And it wasn't just her as well. There was Mikey was at the event, and Mikey was just a few feet away from Charlie at UV.
Before meeting Charlie, as older interviews and past details continue to resurface. Others disagree with that interpretation, but the back and forth has only kept the public conversation going. With every archived interview, public appearance, or overlooked detail that gains attention online, debate over Erika's background seems to grow even louder. As speculation continued, some critics also pointed to her mother's documented professional connections to network security and related industries as another topic of discussion. Those professional connections by themselves do not establish the broader claims being made, but they are often referenced by online commentators and others discussing Erika's background and personal network.
Get on your feet, boy!
War is raging in Iran.
We're praying for all the souls.
Beyond the political criticism, Erika also became a frequent subject of online comedy, satire, and parody. That added another layer to the already intense public conversation, keeping her name in headlines and across social media as supporters and critics continued offering sharply different views. One notable example came from comedian Drewski, who released a widely shared parody that many viewers saw as a jab at Erika's public image. With exaggerated makeup and an over-the-top performance, the sketch mocked what some critics described as her polished and carefully managed public persona, quickly gaining attention across social media and sparking another round of discussion. While many people outside conservative political circles treated the situation as material for comedy and online entertainment, Erika also received support from several well-known political figures. According to reports and public discussion at the time, she was encouraged by the president to consider legal action in response to portrayals and criticism that she believed had gone too far.
First and foremost, I woke up this morning and I was highly upset. I had a little bit of a yesterday news hangover. I realized that I'm actually so not okay with what Erika Kirk did. She essentially put a target on my back by wrongly asserting that I accused her of murdering her husband. I don't think we can let that fly, right? No, her punishment is going to be more truth. I always say she is sentenced to more truth, and I have been keeping a little secret, and it's time for me to reveal it. Also, I am getting the sense that there is something happening, something big happening. It feels like people are upping the crazy a little bit. Something is coming undone in the background. And on that note, the big news of the day is guess who crawled from under his rock, apparently, and sent me a full-blown lawsuit. Yes, Brian Harpole. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that that would grant me, your girl, the power of subpoena. Let's get started. Welcome back to Candace.
Similar opinions were also expressed by figures such as Ted Cruz, but not everyone on the political right agreed with that approach. The disagreement revealed another divide over how Erika should respond to her critics, adding yet another chapter to the growing public debate surrounding her. Other conservative commentators, including voices such as Baron Coleman, argued that Erika should remain open to public scrutiny despite the hardships she has faced. They maintained that personal tragedy does not automatically place a public figure beyond criticism, especially when questions continue to be raised about public statements, decisions, and appearances they believe deserve closer examination.
Nowhere in the Bible, nowhere in any religious tradition does it say, if you're a widow, you get a free pass to lie to anyone you want, to gaslight everybody you meet, for everything you've ever done in your entire life that is dog doo-doo. You just get overlooked. No one's allowed to bring it up. No one's allowed to talk about it. For the rest of your life, everyone has to fawn all over you and support you because, my God, you're a widow. It doesn't exist. I've looked at scripture. It's not in there. Erika, Graham, Gary, not in here. Andrew doesn't say it. There's no requirement. I support her as the head of TPUSA. There's no prohibition on me criticizing her for documented falsehoods.
Even as criticism continued to grow and several of her public appearances drew strong reactions, Erika showed no signs of stepping away from the spotlight. Instead of changing direction in response to her critics, she remained highly visible and continued embracing her public role. Supporters viewed that as a sign of resilience and determination, while critics interpreted it as another reason to keep questioning her actions, ensuring the public debate remained active and intense. To some critics, it suggested that Erika was not recognizing how negatively certain actions and public statements were being received. Instead of pulling back, she continued attending major events, speaking at large gatherings, and maintaining a highly visible role within the movement and the broader public conversation.
Please welcome Turning Point USA CEO and Chair, Erika Kirk.
That only gave people more to discuss and debate. As a result, the controversy stayed in the spotlight, and the discussion surrounding Erika continued attracting attention. While she remained active in public, some of her most outspoken critics, including Candace Owens, kept questioning her actions and public statements. Through interviews, podcasts, and online discussions, they continued challenging her version of events, keeping the conversation alive and generating fresh reactions. But just as Erika's public story became closely tied to a shocking act of violence, many observers believe another dramatic development marked the start of a new chapter in the ongoing controversy surrounding her.
This culture we're living in absorbs disagreement as a form of personal betrayal. It turns having an opposing viewpoint into a moral crime worthy of punishment. And here's what I've realized through all of this, having lived through quite literal hell these past 7 months, if you strip someone of their humanity long enough, you will arrive at the chilling conclusion that they don't deserve to exist at all. Every morning I wake up to a new headline lying about me. I have comedians dressing up in whiteface. I have people saying I'm not fit to be CEO. And I have Candace Owens claiming I murdered my husband. And the list goes on and on and on. There is a serious epidemic of dehumanization plaguing this country.
What happened next quickly became one of the biggest topics of discussion across political media and social platforms. Reactions spread fast, with supporters and critics offering completely different takes on what it all meant. More recently, Erika attended the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Depending on who was telling the story, the evening was described as either a public relations setback or simply another event surrounded by speculation. Amid wider conversations about security concerns and other headlines connected to the gathering, one of the biggest talking points involved footage and reports claiming Erika was seen leaving the event in tears, triggering yet another wave of online discussion and intense debate. In most situations, seeing someone become visibly emotional would likely lead to an outpouring of sympathy and concern. But because opinions about Erika have become so deeply divided, the reaction online was much more mixed. While some people expressed support and compassion, others responded with jokes, memes, and sharp criticism, showing just how polarized the public conversation had become.
I am grieving. Yes, alongside our great team running Turning Point USA. Yes, I'm raising my babies. And you don't separate those into different boxes. They can all coexist. And so, yeah, I take my babies to the office. I want my kids to see what their father built. I want them to be a part of it. Maybe it's supposed to be something that inspires them and encourages them to think, okay, we live in the greatest country where you can be so many different things. You can be a mother. You can be an author. You can be a nurse. You can be a teacher. In one full lifetime. You don't have to just be one thing. And honestly, being a mother is one of the greatest honors and privileges and job titles you could ever have.
Reports and commentary from different sources suggested the incident may have left her deeply shaken, leading some people to speculate that she might eventually step back from public life after months of constant attention and controversy. Not long afterward, Erika released a statement that led many to wonder whether she was preparing to slow down or temporarily step away from her public role, adding another layer of curiosity and debate. She said, "Saturday was yet another traumatic example of the evil in our country and the continued rise in political violence. I'm taking time to spend with my family. I will be joining the Charlie Kirk Show Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern." The statement quickly spread online, sparking fresh reactions and becoming another major topic of discussion.
Straight answers, and then she lied to my face. And from that point on, when I clocked her on those lies and the public kept repeatedly clocking her on lies and seeing your reaction to it like it is right now, I grew increasingly suspicious of Erika. I remain suspicious of Erika. I think that is any person who is being honest. Why don't you respond to what I'm actually saying? I am saying that donors are telling us that that was an AI video or an AI audio that you presented of Charlie Kirk. Wouldn't that be a great time to clear that up? If you're going to sit there and you're going to point the finger at Candace Owens, I would have said, and it is egregious that Candace Owens is implying that we would make this up, that Charlie didn't want me to take over. And then you slam dunk, show the video of Charlie Kirk saying in Aspen that he wanted you to be the CEO. I have made a lot of claims about you lying, and I stand by the claims that I have made on this show.
To briefly address what took place, enough is enough. The message immediately sparked a wave of speculation across social media. Some people interpreted it as a sign that she might be seriously thinking about stepping back from public appearances after months of controversy, criticism, and nonstop public attention. That interpretation did not last long, however. Just a few days later, Erika was back in front of the cameras and once again taking part in the public conversation. Instead of staying out of the spotlight, she used the appearance to respond to claims and theories she believed were inaccurate or misleading, ensuring the debate surrounding her continued to draw attention. Among the people Erika addressed most directly was Candace Owens, whose criticism had become one of the most talked about disagreements in conservative media. Their public back and forth had already attracted major attention, so her response quickly became another headline and another point of debate. From there, Erika explained why she chose to attend the event in the first place. According to her account, she wanted to directly address ongoing disagreements and confront issues that had been building for some time. Her remarks quickly drew widespread attention, with some viewers seeing them as an effort to answer her critics and clear the air, while others interpreted the moment very differently. Predictably, the explanation did little to slow the criticism. If anything, some observers argued it raised even more questions about her public image and sparked another wave of debate across social media and political circles.
Call BS on her reason for going to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Girl, just be real. Just be real with everyone. I went because I was invited and I wanted to go. You didn't go to like, oh, I'm going to hold reporters accountable. You just wanted to go. You wanted to go and you did, and that's fine. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. So like that, it's that kind of stuff that makes people think her behavior is more performative than anything. Just be real. People want authenticity. You wanted to go to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. You were invited as a guest of Fox News. That's fine. Because people were making fun of her sparkly outfits following Charlie Kirk's assassination. Just be you. And more importantly, videos like this don't help. They just...
What caught many people's attention was that even some observers who had previously remained neutral were starting to question whether her current approach was helping or hurting her public standing. One critic wrote, "If Erika Kirk truly is just a grieving widow and not actually a bad person, which is now becoming harder and harder to believe, then somebody around her who cares need to tell her the following." The remark quickly spread online and became another widely shared example of just how divided public opinion had become. Her disposition is totally unlikable. Her delivery is completely untrustworthy. Another critic added, "Every time she opens her mouth, she digs herself into a bigger hole. I would rather not tell a widow how to grieve, but I would advise a wannabe AstroTurf CEO to go home and spend more time with her kids she claims to love." Comments like these spread rapidly across social media and became part of the broader backlash surrounding her public appearances.
I have people saying I'm not fit to be CEO, and I have Candace Owens claiming I murdered my husband. And the list goes on and on and on.
And I get on camera and I show everybody how batshit crazy I am. And the evidence goes on and on and on and on. And I will not stop, because just Monday, I said I was taking time off to be with my family. And now it's Thursday, and I am hosting a podcast clip, because in Turning Point, you can both take time off from work and work at the exact same time. And this hypocrisy can go on and on and on and
Critics argued that her attention seemed increasingly focused on ongoing disputes and public disagreements rather than the larger tragedy that first brought her into the national spotlight. Supporters strongly rejected those claims, saying the criticism was unfair and overlooked the difficult circumstances she had faced. As both sides continued pushing their views, the debate remained intense and deeply divided. Whether those perceptions were fair or not, they gave Erika's critics another reason to question her actions, and the controversy only seemed to grow louder. Some of her strongest critics argued that her response to public criticism appeared more emotional than her reaction to the attacks she faced after her husband's death, a comparison that quickly fueled even more debate. They pointed to her focus on media disputes and online commentary as what they believed showed misplaced priorities. Supporters firmly rejected that view, arguing the criticism ignored the pressure she had been under. The sharp disagreement kept the public conversation active, with both sides continuing to push very different interpretations. One of the first well-known public figures to respond to Erika's remarks was Candace Owens. After Erika suggested that Candace had promoted the idea that she was somehow connected to Charlie's death, a claim Owens firmly denied. Owens released a lengthy response. She spent more than 20 minutes criticizing Erika's statements and arguing that her own views had been misrepresented, bringing even more attention to an already high-profile public disagreement. a major part of Owens' response focused on what she saw as Erika's attempt to redirect the conversation and cast her as the central villain in the controversy. Owens rejected that characterization, arguing that her comments had been taken out of context and presented in a misleading way. As the exchange continued, the dispute became less about the original issues and more about competing versions of what had actually been said and who was being treated unfairly in the public debate.
I'm not accusing you of shooting your husband. What I am assuming that I have been open about on the show is that it reeks of dishonesty. And that people told you this. There's something about your general nature that comes across as very dishonest. You don't seem to be interested in the very many holes. I wouldn't be able to stomach sitting or standing next to Kash Patel, and yet you do. You're sitting here at a White House Correspondents' Dinner. Why don't you ask him to give the defense what they need if you want a speedy trial, victim? You lying about the surgeon and beginning the entire story about a Superman neck, but actually you were on the phone, but you lied to my face and you're pretending that I have to take that because you're a widow? That doesn't work for us.
Above all, Owens made it clear that she was not backing away from the concerns she had raised about Erika's public image and messaging. She argued there was a difference between the image Erika presented publicly and what some critics believed might be happening behind the scenes. Supporters of Erika rejected that view, while critics said the questions still deserved public discussion. As both sides continued defending their positions, the disagreement remained one of the most closely followed debates in conservative media. Candace also repeated an argument that commentators such as Baron Coleman had raised earlier on their own programs. They shared the view that Erika's position as a public figure connected to influential political and media circles meant her words and actions should continue to face public scrutiny and discussion. According to that perspective, what they viewed as inconsistencies in Erika's public messaging justified ongoing questions and accountability, regardless of the personal hardship she has experienced. They argued that public sympathy should not prevent public examination or debate. Supporters disagreed with that position, but the sharp divide in opinion kept the controversy active and the conversation firmly in the spotlight. After another wave of online criticism, the backlash had grown so widespread that even commentators from outlets often seen as politically opposed to Erika, including voices associated with the Young Turks, weighed in on the situation.
Didn't hold back and dragged her for over 20 minutes.
In one sentence, she said, I after today's traumatizing shooting, I need to spend time with my family, and then I will be on the Charlie Kirk show on Wednesday. So I think she just needed 48 hours. We get to that. The response has just been brutal, okay? Everyone is calling her out. They're saying that the look is wrong. People are making fun of saying that she looks like she came dressed up as the assassin that was walking up the stairs, allegedly, but also just her general demeanor. Okay, here are just some of the reactions. We can go through them. I guess I missed it. When did Candace Owens mention anywhere in the podcast that you murdered your husband? You didn't miss it. I trust gas station sushi more than I trust Erika Kirk. This user writes, I was hoping you were going to address all the questions being asked of you. This lecture was pointless. We're just getting lectured every day. We're so tired of being lectured. This person writes, Candace Owens never once made the explicit claim that you...
Instead of only criticizing her, some also offered advice on how they believe she could improve her public messaging and avoid releasing videos or statements that quickly become the center of ridicule, controversy, or strong negative reactions. Not everyone took that constructive approach, however. While some commentators focused on offering suggestions they believed could help Erika communicate more effectively, others concentrated almost entirely on criticizing her public image and decisions. As a result, every new appearance or statement continued to trigger fresh reactions, keeping the debate active and ensuring the controversy remained a frequent topic of discussion across social media and political commentary. Rather than focusing on how Erika could rebuild public trust, many critics have turned their attention to her past. They have revisited interviews, speeches, and public statements from her years with Charlie, comparing them with her more recent messaging. Based on those comparisons, they argue they have found differences that, in their view, raise new questions about her public narrative. Many people recognize that Erika's life changed dramatically after losing her husband and becoming the sole parent of her children.
You can have a career after children, but if you try to have a career while you have your kids, there is no such thing as balance. That is such a myth. Gigi gets those little Montessori toys every month, and there's this one that has the buckets that balance. If I put something in one of those buckets, it's going to drop down. And if I try to balance them, both buckets are filled, which is not realistic. I can't spend half of the day doing one thing. I missed out half of that time with being with the kids. So you have to choose where your heart has to be fully with the home.
Even so, some critics argue those life-changing events do not fully explain what they see as changes in her public positions and messaging. Major events can absolutely reshape a person's outlook, priorities, and perspective. Even with that in mind, some observers say they have noticed what they believe are significant differences between the values. For some of Erika's most outspoken critics, the changes they believe they have seen in her public behavior have led them to reach even stronger conclusions about her motivations. They argue that the version of Erika now in the spotlight reflects who she has always been, while her supporters firmly reject that claim and continue defending her against those accusations. The disagreement has only become more intense, with both sides standing by their views and challenging each other's arguments at every turn.
Everyone is asking why I even went to the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and it was because many of the journalists in that room have attempted to dehumanize me, and I wanted to meet some of them face to face, quite frankly. Why have a conversation about me when you can have a conversation with me? So, for example, a journalist from the Daily Mail came up to me, she introduced herself, and she was very gracious. She was saying, "You look so beautiful. I'm so sorry for your loss." To which I replied, "It is so nice to put a name to the face."
One critic expressed that perspective in especially strong terms, saying, "I felt sorry for him. I felt like he was being love-bombed, manipulated, and gaslighted so much by Erika and others that he probably thought he found his soulmate. But I believe he was seeing the truth." Another critic continued, "And sadly, it cost him his life. Relationships with narcissists are complicated. She said I missed half the day being with the kids instead of saying she missed spending time with the kids because she had to work all day. Her heart was to never be a mom. She likes being that boss. Charlie stole her shine. She got left at home with the kids, and when he was around, he put the kids first. This made her very envious. She wanted the stage back. A pageant girl needs to perform. She needed the spotlight for validation." Those remarks reflect the personal opinions and allegations of critics, not established facts or verified descriptions of Erika's character, motivations, or private life.
How disingenuous can you be, Andrew? You have to get tired of it at some point. You just got to get tired of it. Again, I will assert publicly, you have my full permission. Go Max. Release the entire chain. I have nothing to hide. When I said and I asserted several times, there is not a single thing that he can point to that I said on this show that was leaked to me by Aubrey Leitch, from December 15th, okay? Post getting fired, obviously she spoke out and I've had many conversations with her, but nothing was leaked to me about that I presented on this show about anything that was going on internal. So pretending that this joke that went around of I'm the first thing I'm gonna ask her is why'd you murder your husband? Why are you gay? Is a little over the top. Release it all. Let the public judge. I have nothing to hide.
Supporters strongly reject those claims, highlighting just how sharply divided public opinion has become. The disagreement continues to fuel heated conversations across social media and political commentary. Meanwhile, as if the public dispute were not already intense enough, tensions between figures connected to Turning Point and Candace Owens appeared ready to become even more heated as legal issues entered the picture. With so many people closely following the story, many observers believe that any new developments in ongoing legal proceedings could quickly become another major headline and spark yet another wave of public discussion and debate. Critics and supporters alike are watching closely to see what happens next, knowing that every new development has the potential to spark another round of headlines, reactions, and heated debate. Meanwhile, Erika continues to face intense public scrutiny from multiple directions, with nearly every statement and public appearance drawing fresh attention. According to her critics, both her personal reputation and public standing have changed dramatically, leaving her in a very different position from when she was primarily known as Charlie's wife. The discussion has become so widespread that even people who had not closely followed the story have started sharing their opinions. Some critics believe the constant public attention appears to be taking a visible toll, while others argue that stepping back from public life, even for a short time, could ease the pressure and allow the controversy to cool. Supporters, however, continue to stand behind her and defend her public role. Whether Erika ultimately decides to step back or remain highly active in public life, one thing is clear. The debate surrounding her shows no sign of fading anytime soon. Whatever happens next, the story is likely to generate even more headlines, stronger reactions, and sharply divided opinions in the weeks and months ahead.